I'm ready when you are.
I'm ready when I am.
Wow, is it all going to be this profound?
Episode 155, right?
Sure is. And better just hold on to your jacket because the buttons might pop. We are #1 retirement podcast according to Good Pods.
Woohoo!
Yeah, how about that?
We didn't even know there was a contest.
We didn't, or I would have put on makeup. Or #4 in weekly entertainment podcast. And so we want to thank you. Thank you so much for this. And, by the way, she's Lisa Brand.
And she's Erin Davis.
And we've got a great show lined up for you this week. We like to think that everyone is. Since we're #1. So in honor of that #1 spot, and because we already had it planned, the joy of quitting. No, we're not stopping the podcast.
Right.
We're going to launch right into a brand new year in January, and we've got a few more shows this year, of course, too. But it all began with this post from somebody that we both like. It's Mark Manson, who wrote the book, The Fine Art of Not Giving an F.
Right.
Can you kind of sum up what it means to explore the joy of quitting, Lisa?
Yeah. I don't know about you, Erin, but when I was a kid, I was always told to never quit anything. You start something, you have to finish it. But half the reason we set goals, according to Mark Manson, is to find out what makes us happy and what makes us miserable. So, we put a lot of emphasis on success and things going well, but things not going well teach us stuff too, right? So we determine what matters, what the work is we care about, the people we admire and respect, and then we work back from that, and then we get rid of the stuff that doesn't work for us. And that could mean quitting a job or quitting a friendship or whatever it takes, because the whole purpose is to learn through pursuing these goals, not to necessarily succeed in every single goal we pursue.
And there's so much freedom in quitting something that is costing you, whether it's something that you realize I'm spending all this money and it's not making any kind of a return, or more importantly, your time and your emotional well-being too, right?
Absolutely. We learn how things don't serve us and make us work. There's that little feeling you get in the pit of your stomach sometimes, too.
Oh, thank you for not saying you get a pit in your stomach. That has entered the lexicon, and now everybody says it. Oh, I have a pit in my stomach. No, it's a feeling in the pit of your stomach, but we can't change it now. That preparation H is out of the tube. Anyway, that feeling in the pit of your stomach. Go on, Lisa.
And sometimes we squelch it down and ignore it and go ahead, and you find out later, or you realize later, that was your yield sign or almost stop sign to say, shouldn't be doing this.
Well, it's time to get really real here about something that you quit.
Oh.
You've been good at quitting things. You quit a successful morning show in Toronto to pursue your life love, Derek. And Derek, we know you're listening, so you're doing dishes tonight. And you wanted happiness. You wanted to live in a smaller place. You wanted to make less money.
Desperately. And I'm happy to tell you I succeeded. Yay!
Yay, you. Oh, yay. But you also quit something that cost you money in the last week. And this is a big story. And my hat is, even my sun hat, that stupid sun hat that I left on the plane, that hat is off to you. So tell us your story. And please do it in English, not Greek.
I promise. So I was hired by a company out of the UK to narrate some audiobooks that are no longer under copyright. So they're older than 100 years. Copyright eventually recedes and people don't own these works anymore. They become public domain, as you well know, because you have many stories like that in your podcast, Drift.
Yes. Drift with Erin Davis, sleep stories.
Right.
Available wherever you get podcasts, or go to erindavis.com. As you were.
And so these are things like Mark Twain and Jane Austen. However, once I had agreed to the contract and we were underway, they said, okay, here are your books, Homer's The Iliad and the Odyssey. Now, I don't know how much you know about these books, Aaron. I've only heard of them in passing. It's nothing I've ever read. I knew they were Greek classics written 2,500 years ago, on and on and on, and had to do with war. The trouble is, they're mostly written in Greek. And not only is it full of Greek words, a lot of these words are towns and cities and rivers and people who only appear once. So it's a matter of having to learn how to pronounce all of these words and then forget it and move on and learn another one.
So you're saying that this is not the least bit phonetic or intuitive,
No.
and you had to go and look up every single pronunciation and then go back to your recording and hope that the pronunciation that the internet served up was correct, right?
Exactly. And there's always a case of having to do what we call pickups later on in an audiobook because there's been a mistake or whatever. Well, can you imagine if some of these were wrong, what I'd have to go through? So let's not make this about me. Imagine you're an audiobook listener and you've picked up the Iliad because you heard somewhere that it was a masterpiece that you had to listen to.
Sure.
This is what you'd end up hearing. Peneleus, Letus, Arcesilaus, Protherinor, and Clonius served as commanders of the Boeotians. These were the men who lived in Hyria and rocky Alis, and who controlled Scinas, Selcus, and the highlands of Eteneus, along with Thespia, Graia, and the beautiful city of Mycalessus. They also controlled Harma, Elysium.
Can I say, if we still had phone books, I'd listen to you narrate it. But anyway.
So every Greek word in there had to be looked up. I wouldn't get it right the first time. So that little clip probably took 20 or 25 minutes to do and then edit together. So the first book, the Iliad, is 19 hours long.
Good God.
And it's all about this warrior whose father was this guy who won at this place, and they're from this town, but they moved to this town, and they're on a ship named this, and they came to this. It's unbelievable. And I cannot imagine, except for maybe a student who was forced to listen to it, who would want to. Both Derek and my brother Kevin said, that's about as much as I could take of that.
Yeah.
It's not enjoyable.
Are you going to tell us about being on the floor in the studio? Go ahead.
Well,
Not one of your prouder moments, right?
No, the second chapter, they're actually called books in this book. So book 2 is all names, pretty much. And I got through it. Somehow I made it through. I just kept going, thinking, okay, I took this job on. I said I was going to do it. And I got to a point where I guess I started mispronouncing one word that I thought I had down and then realized I was doing it. So I was going to have to go back and redo it. And I went into Derek's studio and I sat on the floor and hugged my knees and just bawled. The stress, the frustration, like stopping to make dinner seemed like it was getting in the way because this darn thing was so long and I had a timeline to get it done. So I quit. And you know what, Erin?
What?
They didn't even flinch because they probably thought, oh my goodness, we got somebody to do this. And they didn't flinch. I suggested they get someone with a Greek background to do it. And I quit. I gave them their money back and walked away.
This may be the rare instance where give it to AI.
If AI can do this, Greek AI, go for it. That's not a bad idea, actually. It might be because it's not an enjoyable book to listen to. It's just all these names and there's very little story. It's all about fighting over a woman and it goes on forever.
How did you feel once you'd made the call or sent the text or email and said, I quit?
Picture Paul Rudd dancing. Okay, that's what it was like. So somebody else is going to get stuck with it. Let them. Haha, let them. And I move on with my life.
Moving on with your life is another subject that really comes up a lot in our age group on a podcast that's #1 in retirement. But don't worry, this is the last time we're going to mention it because, it doesn't matter in the big scheme. The most important thing is that you are listening. That's all that matters. But we both came across this story. And Lisa, Queen Major Carol wrote to me earlier this week about her husband who passed away last year. And she said, did I tell you he worked up until a month before he died? And I wanted to ask Carol, and I haven't yet, do you wish that he had retired sooner? Because it was something that gave him joy. And a
Mm.
lot of us, that old saying that nobody's headstone says, I wish I'd spent more hours at the office, right?
Right.
So we came across this story in the Wall Street Journal, of all places, called The Joy of Doing Nothing in Retirement. And it's not like we're saying everybody can retire. You can afford to quit whatever you're doing. Everybody's got that nest egg. No, we get it. A lot of people work because they have to. You got to pay the bills. Life got in the way, or things just didn't work out financially the way you'd hoped. So we get that. And this is not judgment or anything like that. This story is about how we often hear how important it is to stay busy with the time we have left, but that there's a lot to be said for doing the opposite, which to people like you and me is kind of, it's not what we do.
Yeah, I even have trouble sitting and reading for a long period of time. I feel antsy, like I have to get up and do something. There's a little voice in the back of the head that says, you're not being productive, you're wasting time, you're not doing something of value. And this whole concept is about something of value is just breathing. Like, can we just look at that, for instance,
Yeah, like time enjoyed is not time wasted.
Right.
And the ability to let go of the external and internal forces that define our days. And it is that little voice. Like my mom used to say, why are you sleeping your day away?
Yes.
When I would get up at 3:30 in the morning, do a full show, come home exhausted, and then nap for 2 or 3 hours, so I could stay up till 10 or 11 at night. I wasn't, but that's how it looked to people outside me. And so I still hear that voice every now and then.
Yep. Me as well.
And the sleeping in thing, I do feel guilty about it because, I have house guests like you or my sister, Cindy, not Leslie. Leslie's really good at sleeping in, and so is Heather. But the ones who get up early, and I think, well, I should get up because I want to be a good host. And I think that all of those voices play into what we think we have to do, but retirement should be what we want to do.
Right. And don't forget, when I'm your guest and you want to sleep in, I tell you to. I don't want to ruin your good time or your rest or anything. So anybody I think who really cares about you would say, no, go ahead, sleep in. Unless we're doing something early, then get your butt out of bed.
Absolutely. But at the crux of this article is doing stuff for yourself. It's not a time out. It's more of a time in to a different way of seeing yourself. We need to give ourselves permission. And I think this time of year, there's no time of year that has more stress on it, right? I got to get this done. I got to prepare this 8-dish meal for Christmas or New Year's. It's just giving yourself permission. And sometimes that can look like getting other people to shoulder some of it too, right?
Absolutely. It's hard for a lot of people to ask for help. Like my mom, for example, when she used to make a big dinner or whatever, she would just say, oh, it's easier for me to just do it myself than to get somebody to help me. And that's unfortunate.
Was it really though, or was that the martyr thing?
That was totally the martyr thing. And just not knowing how to delegate and not knowing how to talk to people to get them to help you without barking at them. Hey, if you're going to do nothing and lay around and look after yourself and maybe have some me time, why not do it on something that will help heal your skin, support your neck, and make you feel better when you get up? And of course, I'm talking about the Envy Copper Skin Healing Pro-Aging Neck Support Pillow. Aren't we all trying to find better sleep, more sleep, better quality sleep? And if you can find something that will help you with that, like you and I have, Erin, with the Envy Pillow, why wouldn't you? It is the highest expression of self-care to turn your sleep into something that fuels you and makes you feel better when you get up, not getting up with the, oh no, not again.
Exactly. If there's one thing wrong with it, it makes getting out of bed harder. So take that and take this, a 10% off discount using the code GF at Envy, ENVY, pillow.com. They are paying the tariffs for their American customers, which just shows you what menches Kathy and Kim are. For Canadians, well, you just get the same great value for a pillow that's going to last you a very long time. Oh, by the way, I know we're not doing lists and stuff yet, but you've heard that Oxford Dictionary's word of the year is rage bait.
Yeah.
Is that supposed to infuriate us that it's actually two words? Are they being ironic?
I guess it was just so far ahead of the curve. I don't know.
Oh, but for me, also two words for 2025, and that is elbows up.
Yep.
In terms of quitting, a lot of us quit buying U.S. products in 2025 just as much as we could. Not all of them, but as much as we could to make a dent. And a lot of us stopped buying, say, American produce or products when there were Canadian alternatives. We weren't always successful, and you fessed up to that with cauliflower.
And that's still a thing because now the fresh stuff is all from the US, but I did find some from Mexico, so I'm going back there to get more.
Great. So a lot of us are keeping up with elbows up, and we did see a story on CBC that ahead of the busy holiday season, recent data suggest that the Buy Canada movement may be losing a bit of steam because nearly 70% of businesses didn't see an increase in Canadian product sales over the last 6 months. That's according to StatsCan. And experts say inflation and the removal of some Canadian counter tariffs on the U.S. may be to blame. I don't know. I'm holding a grudge. I'm still always going to keep trying to buy Canadian. How about you?
Oh, definitely. Everything I buy, I turn over and see where it comes from. Comparing canned goods, for example, if there's something from Canada, even if it looks like it's not the big brand, that everybody's pushing out front, that's even better to go for the Canadian version of it. I'm trying, but cauliflower is just a must-have for me.
Well, no, and we get that. But the important thing is that we keep trying, that we keep supporting Canadian companies wherever we can, which brings me to a big sale that is ending at midnight tomorrow night, and that'll be Pacific time. Do not sleep on this. It's Sierra Sil's big sale. Tomorrow night at midnight, it ends. So go today to Sierra, Sierra, Sierra like the mountains, Sil.com, because they have a buy two, get one free offer. You put 3 things in your cart, and the lowest priced one is free. You go to their website. We already told you what that is, and it ends tomorrow night at midnight, and you may be able to get on and off Santa's knee without groaning. So do that and support a Canadian company. Can I tell you, Lisa, though, that being down here in Mexico and grocery shopping, it's a little bit of a relief not to be checking every single label.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize how taxing it was. I mean, it's not really. If you're going to commit to something, do it. But putting on the reading glasses, taking them off, putting them on, taking them off. Down here, there is some U.S. produce and there are some U.S. products. So, I just look for Mexican instead. But I didn't realize just how much a part of it it's become this year and how tiring it can be. Right. So there's my confession for today.
But you're still checking. It's become a habit, right? And I think that's really important. I think most of us are still doing it. I see people walking past the U.S. stuff often. And no harm, no foul if it's cheaper and you want to buy it. But
hey, we're not judging.
Not at all.
We are not judging. If you need to stretch your dollar as far as you can, we get it.
Yep.
So we got a voicemail. And this one, we're really, really counting on your opinion on this. And I mean, you, the listener. Lisa and I have opinions on everything. Just ask our husbands. But this is something that Rini wants an answer for. And we're counting on you. You can either answer on our Gracefully and Frankly Facebook page, leave your answer there, just type it out, or even better, leave a voicemail and we'll tell you how to do it. But first, let's listen to Rini's call and a question for you.
Hi, Erin and Lisa. It's Rini calling from Ontario. My husband and I, we usually visit the U.S. to escape our very long winters each year. But like you, Erin, we're starting to look at alternatives outside the States. Last year, we visited Morocco and Spain for a couple of weeks. And this year, we're hoping to settle somewhere warm for about a month, somewhere we can golf and enjoy outdoor activities that don't involve snow. I'd love to know what non-U.S. destinations other Canadians are experiencing or considering for long winter getaways. And on a side note, I just got back from a girls' trip to your neck of the woods, Erin. It was to the west coast of Vancouver Island. And all I can say is, wow, the rugged beauty there is unbelievable. We were there during storm season and got to experience king tides, high winds, heavy rain. It was the whole show. It was incredible. Thanks, ladies, for your weekly podcasts, and I look forward to them every single week. Thank you.
Oh, Rini, thank you so much, first off, for sending in the voicemail, and we really appreciate it.
Anyone who wants to call and just chat or comment on something we've talked about, or you can even ask questions, go to our gracefullyandfrankly.com page. That's our website, and there's a little microphone icon in the bottom right, and you are welcome to call anytime.
Wow, it's a tough one, right? You've been through this. So many people have been through it, trying to figure out where to go.
Yeah. And you know what? California was my happy place, and we could drive there, and packing up a car full of dogs and everything we need is so much easier than trying to pare down into 2 suitcases. Okay, what am I going to need for 4 months? And of course, there's the language difference. There's not being able to drive here. And it's a choice because the driving here is just a little bit insane. There's a lot of barriers that keep us from going to places outside our comfort zone. But safe harbors are great to have if you're a boat, but they're not where your boat is meant to be. Your boat is meant to go out there and explore what else is on other shores, right?
I guess so. I don't
That
know,
might have
but-
been in the Iliad if you just kept reading.
Yeah, maybe it was, but I tend to tie a rope and attach my dinghy to your boat. So where your boat goes, my dinghy comes along.
I haven't had a dinghy attached to me in a long time. Rob's been gone back to BC, so stop with that dirty talk, you.
I think we both totally empathize with what Rini is saying, though, and hopefully we'll get some really cool answers. I have friends who built a place in Panama, and they absolutely love it there. And it's hot like it is in Mexico, and there's sandy beaches and everything they need, and they just love it. So maybe that's a place to consider.
And I have a friend who goes to Portugal just about every year.
There you
Nancy
go.
loves it, and she says that the language really isn't a barrier there. My sister Leslie just finished her own 2-month odyssey that began with a cruise and ended up, well, it didn't end up anywhere. It was like Australia and then Greece and Turkey and Egypt and Spain. And she said that Egypt was insane, but historically the most fulfilling thing she's ever done. And Spain, the Spanish she's been learning from Duolingo was the wrong Spanish. It's Catalonian or some different Spanish that they use as opposed to what Mexicans use. Say, yeah. But here's the thing about language. If you're worried about language, as of course I was, and I'm still stumbling through it, there are apps that make it so easy. I went into a pharmacy and I was looking for something, and the pharmacist didn't speak English much, and I don't speak much Spanish. So I just dictated into my translator app. She read it, dictated it back. I read it. It worked perfectly, Lisa.
That's Derek's go-to. That's how he has been talking with people of other languages. And it's fantastic because you can have an entire conversation that way. And you get that connection. There's that feeling when you can't speak the same language, like, oh, how are we ever going to see eye to eye? But you get that connection and it's just amazing. That's so great. Good. I'm going to use that too when I'm there.
Absolutely. And you know what's funny? Walking through our neighborhood, there's kind of a mix of people visiting or people who winter here from English-speaking countries and people who are Mexican or speak Spanish. So I never know what to say on the dog walks when we walk by. It's always buenos dias or hola, buenos dias. And so I'll go, hello, hola, or hola, hello. Oh my God, I'm so worried about offending everybody.
I think as long as you make an effort, right?
Yes. And something I learned down here from my sister. If somebody lets you into traffic and you wave at them, you would show them the palm of your hand, right? You're waving right now as I say this. In Mexico, you show the back of your hand.
Why?
Less aggressive.
Really?
It's less aggressive. Yeah. Because sometimes when Rob puts his hand up just to kind of wave to someone who let him in or whatever, I say that looks aggressive and it looks like stop. Because that's also the sign for stop, right? Put your hand up. We're thinking Spice Girls videos now, but now I need you to turn your mind to Beyonce and all the single ladies with the hand flipping to the back. So yeah, You do the backhand to say thank you. It's less aggressive.
I just did a wave like I do it to see what it is that I naturally do. And I keep all my fingers together and just sort of do like a sweep. It's sort of the front, but it's sort of keeping my hand as narrow as possible.
Okay.
And just sweeping it up just to make sure they see my hand waving. Maybe that's even worse. That's probably a gang sign with my luck.
A gang sign. Remember that? When our parents warned us about going to Florida or to California, be careful of the gang signs. Yeah, we're really their people. Anyway, speaking of travel, and thank you again, Rini. We appreciate that, and I'm so glad you enjoyed the drama of British Columbia. We have a twit that is a former MTV host who is now the Secretary of Transportation in the U.S. If you can believe, they went from Pete Buttigieg to this guy. It's time for This Week in Totally Stupid, or
Twits!
All right, Sean Duffy. So last week was the big long weekend of travel when Americans get 4 unfettered days off, the only time in the year for many of them to travel for Thanksgiving. And his advice to make travel easier and more civil: dress up on the plane. Can you think of anything less in touch than advising people to dress more formally to fly?
There was a time back, is he like 200 years old? No, he can't be. He was on MTV. When there was a time back in the day when it was an occasion to dress up because not a lot of people could afford to fly. But that's even before our time. Now it's all about comfort. The only thing I don't want to see is toes. Other than that, wear whatever makes you feel comfortable. That's so silly.
As long as it doesn't smell. If you're wearing your pajama pants, make sure they've been washed in the last 2 weeks and you're not just going home to get mom to do the laundry.
Right. That should apply to everyday life in every situation. Don't stink.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, we've got a new Queenagers t-shirt. Yes, people dress for comfort on planes. I don't even wear jeans on planes. Rob does because he likes the stretchier jeans. But it's got to be comfortable because the seats are not. And yes, I wear padded underwear occasionally, not to pens, but they're an underwear that has padding in them to kind of emphasize the butt because mine looks like an ironing board. I wear it only in dresses and to travel because the seats have no padding anymore.
Where can I get those? Not that I need them. I have plenty of butt, but they sound comfortable.
Well, they are. They're a little bit better. They're a little bit better. You can find them online anywhere, mostly where the cross-dressers shop. I'm going to be honest.
Cool. I learned something from you every week, Erin Davis.
It's not always good, though, is it, Lisa?
Oh, well, it adds to the whole soup that is me.
Yes, you are a super soup. And dress for comfort, like you're sitting right now listening to Gracefully and Frankly. And we've got one more thing to ask you to do, and that's to go to gracefullyandfrankly.com. We've got all kinds of stuff there. And Lisa, I have to ask you, when is your deadline for making Queenager t-shirts? Because they are all bespoke. They are made by hand by Lisa. And how much time do you need to get them out in time for Christmas?
I would say the 15th of December would be the final day to order. And you know, the truth is that pendants and earrings go by Canada Post, and I can't guarantee that they're going to make it. They probably will, but I can't absolutely 100% guarantee. I'm not an oligarch stomping on the little people to make sure that the deliveries get out.
Right. I hear you. You're not him. So order now. Get the orders in. We've got coffee mugs and t-shirts, pendants and earrings, and Lisa's trilogy of books, which also make a lovely, lovely Christmas gift. Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating, Kwanzaa, just do it. Go to gracefullyandfrankly.com. Support 2 women. Lisa lost a job because she's a quitter, and she really needs the money.
All right. Calm the violins. All right.
Yeah, that's right. Calm your tits, as they say on Bad Sisters on Apple. I love that show. It's all there. And thank you so much for answering Rini's question, too. If you've got a place that you really love and you think other people should try for a warmer break, we really appreciate it.
We're number 1. Yay.
We are. And as I say, we're not going to brag about this ever again.
Nope.
Number 4 in entertainment. Brent and Avis, we try harder.
Talk to you next week, my friend. Stay cool.
I will, and you're always cool.
Hey.
So you stay cozy. Bye.